He's going to run. 30, 25, 20, 15. Cuts back at the 10. He dives into the end zone. Touchdown! Randall.
So here we are in the middle of Las Vegas on the eve of your birthday, turning 25 years old.
Twice.
Yeah. How does it feel?
I feel good. Can't, jog a mile or anything like that anymore. Don't have the desire to do that. I cut that button off.
Yeah.
But I'm able to still train and work out and things like that.
How would you describe your game for someone who have not had the pleasure to watch you play?
I would first of all say that I was a deep thinker. I wouldn't just study linebackers and defensive backs. I would study the stunts on the defensive line, who was coming free, how much time that I would have, and I would always have a plan.
He starts to run. He's going to go across the 5 and in for a touchdown.
We talk so much about these quarterbacks that come in right now and people trying to make decisions about whether they should change the way they play. Did anybody ever try to do that with you? Did anybody come to you early in your career? Did anybody try to slow you down and bring you?
Yes. Yes, there was a coach who basically told me he wanted me to complete 70% of my passes, Rich Kotite. I'll let the running backs do the running. And it's so crazy because when he and Buddy Ryan were together, I had my greatest year and I ran for 942 yards and could have made the Pro Bowl as a running back. But then they wanted me to kind of run the system the way we needed, which was fine with me. But that's the year I blew my knee out and then broke my ankle sitting in the pocket. But it was all a learning experience for me, and I grew through it and became a greater quarterback later on.
Cunningham is back, floating it for the end zone. It is caught by Calvin Williams for a touchdown.
Is there a point in your career, whether it was a moment or a game, that you realized you were going to drive defensive players crazy, that you were going to be exceptional at this game?
When my first year in the league, they simplified the offense and didn't realize how much I could handle. And it was like, that's all you want me to do? Okay. And then Buddy Ryan comes in there and says, hey, big guy, you just make 7 big plays a game and we'll win. I'm like, that's it? So I was just having fun. And I had a group of great players, the Freddie Barnett's, the Mike Quicks, Keith Byers, Keith Jackson, even Chris Carter was there. And we were just having a ball in Philadelphia. So I didn't have time to think, well, I'm really dogging these guys out, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I was afraid every time I went on the football field. I had to really pray and get to that place where I can get in my zone.
Is there anything that Randall Cunningham at 50 would tell Randall Cunningham at 25 that would be some sound advice?
Yeah, mature quicker. I was so introverted.
And you opened up at some point, just kind of realized that it's not that big of a deal? It's not that
You know
bad.
what? When I sat out in 1996, and I really got to know who God was and got to know myself better, I said, life is about humility. And so when I went back to play, that's what it was. I remember Coach Brian Billett, and he said, well, what play do you want to run? I said, Coach, whatever you call, that's what I want to run, because I know that you're good and you know what you're doing. He says, okay, kid, and he calls a play, and it works. And that submission was something that I had been in and out of. I would submit for a moment, then it would, people would egg me on, just call your own plays, man. We could do better when you call your own plays, and I fell for that. And I became kind of a little prideful, and by the time I had retired that one year and came back, I understood that it wasn't about me, and I kind of knew more about who I was supposed to be rather than who I thought I was.